Check 1, 2. There we go. I almost had no sound. Fun. Hello, and welcome to FSM News. I'm your host, David Fight. We've got a great show for you all tonight with a segment from Jason Lyon and our friends over at You Are the Power. Check us out here every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Free Media Corp. And if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, click the link below to go on over to the Rumble stream, support the creators better, and they're less likely to shut us down while we're broadcasting the truth out here. So, and if you're watching on Odyssey or Rumble, just give yourself a nice little high five like that. We call that a homeschooler high five because have anyone else to high five. And you can also check out all of the streams over at freespeechmedia.live. And you can support the channel, grab some merch, do fun other things on over there. So you can click that link in the description as well. But before we get on over to our awesome segment of the day, we got just a quick word from our sponsors.
I'm Spike Cohen, you are the power, and together, we're about to change everything.
Welcome back to FSM News. Joining me now from beautiful South Carolina, Mr. Jason Ryan. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here. I haven't been on a podcast in so long, so you're like, I'm gonna knock some rust off here while we do this.
Sounds like a fun time. And so since this is the first one of these segments that we're doing, and it's a little bit longer, let's just start out with a quick overview of what is You Are the Power. What are you guys doing? How do these causes come up into your kind of wheelhouse?
Yeah, so You Are the Power is somewhat still a new organization. We're an international grassroots organization that has a network of activists and passionate people about making the world a better place by just taking one little step, by saying one little word, and by doing what little bit they can in their communities in order to help bring about awareness and drive about some change. So we've been doing this really across the political spectrum. We have activists and volunteers across the whole political spectrum. We've got Republicans, we've got Democrats, we've got centrists, we've got people that don't like politics at all. And then, of course, we do have libertarians themselves within the ranks. And it's just people here for the cause, here for the mission, here for the vision, and here to change hearts and minds. And it's been incredible so far. It's always funny whenever the question of what exactly do you guys do? Because it's one of those things that there's no answer to that. We get involved in so many different things. Right now in Mississippi, in Taylorsville, Mississippi, we're working to help solve a murder for a young 25-year-old man, Rasheem Carter. And we've got a $50,000 reward for anyone who's going to bring forth the information that leads to the conviction of his killer or killers. So it's like, okay, so you guys solve murders. Well, we also go and fight with city councils and mayors and city managers, town managers, over the way that they lack human respect for the people that they're supposed to be serving. So when they come in and they're just running roughshod over the people and they say, we don't care what's legal, we don't care what's right, we just want to bully you into kind of our cookie cutter way of what we want you to be. We don't really have any justification for this. You Are the Power loves to step in, and we love to go and send our people in to go talk to them and set them straight, because we want to see a government. If we're going to have these governments be over us, we want these governments to respect us as people, not as servants, not as people undeserving of just basic human decency. And so we come in there and we demand these things, and we've got a really good success rate on those things. But it's not just looking for human respect. We're also getting involved with holding people accountable. Um, Another big one, when a sheriff goes out there and is using his badge and his position to protect himself or his family members from criminal actions that they're taking, we call for accountability there too. So we work just in kind of whatever is necessary for us to see a better America, to see a better South Carolina, to see a better New York, to see a better New York City, to seeing a better Seattle, to seeing even just down to your very neighborhood. Whatever it is, we want to work at the local level in order to see a better change. And so You Are the Power's been doing this for just over a year now. Actually, we're getting close to a year and a half, and it's been just an incredible ride so far. So I'm sorry I can't give you a cookie cutter answer for what it is that we do, but we're pretty far reaching for being so new, and we're finding incredible success everywhere we go.
That's awesome. I honestly think the versatility of the organization is one of the things I like about it the most. Like when I first heard about that we were actually offering a reward in Mississippi, like I don't know, that's just something I've never even seen like Institute for Justice doing, or any of the other organizations that have, I don't want to say done the same, like kind of tried to attack that, like helping people who are getting screwed over by the government type, like if that's the cookie cutter that you want to try to create. Like there's quite a few organizations that do that, but Who Are the Power is doing it in ways that I've never seen anyone else really do it, at least not from within the liberty movement. Like maybe some like NRA type or from like one of the other two big parties might try to pull something like that, but you just don't see that as much from us. That's really cool to me.
It's incredible because the whole principle behind that is these issues didn't come to us in a box. So why would we get into a box in order to address these issues? And so we come from having people from across all these different vast experiences, backgrounds, and passions. I mean, for me, I'm the volunteer director for You Are the Power. And so part of my thing is to working to setting plans, to figuring out how we're going to push forward on this. And if I were to come into these causes and say, this is what we have to do, this is what we're going to do every time, and this is how we're going to gain success, then I no longer see these city council members. I no longer see these mayors, these town managers, these sheriffs, whoever it is that we're dealing with on the issue. I will no longer be seeing them as a person. And so each one of these circumstances are different because each one of these involve different people. And as long as we can kind of keep that flexibility about our results and the way, the methodology, and just the opportunity for people to say, hey, I've got a problem in my town. Is this an idea that would work towards making a solution, work towards a better thing for my community? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? That's a great one. I like and you bring up an interesting point there about like the person that's willing to actually say like, hey, there's this thing going on. Because I feel like I mean I know that there are causes that we don't go for, and like there are people that reach out that don't necessarily fit into the box, but I feel like there's a lot of people that have problems that would fit into the box if You Are the Power, and they're kind of going like, I don't want to bother them, they probably got bigger things going on, or like I don't know if this is really worth it, or I don't want to really make a big deal about it, I don't want my mayor to hate me, or like to somehow get the town to hate me. I'm the guy that did the thing that got the mayor removed from office, so now I'm permanently the asshole of my small town. Like there's a lot of, I think, fears and mostly like imposter syndrome esque things of like, I don't know if I really want to be that person. So can you, I don't know, just kind of speak to that a little bit, and like how people can confident enough to actually reach out and ask for the backup of You Are the Power?
Yeah, I think that this is there's really two issues there. One is the issue of, should I bring this up to you or the power? And two, what is you or the power going to do if this is a cause that they can work on? And so the first one is literally send anything and everything. If you're facing a problem, we would love to see it. We actually have a training coming up on Wednesday night with Spike Cohen. Spike's going to be doing a what is you are the power? You are the power 101. If you go on to any of the socials across um any of the You Are the Power social media accounts. You find us anywhere, Facebook, on X, on Instagram, wherever you're finding us. If you go on there, you'll see a link that you can sign up for. You get to learn all about the in depth of what You Are the Power is. But then the next training is we're going deep dive into what I'm going to talk about here, and that is finding these causes. And so we work under the frame of, hey, is this a huge aspect where human respect has been left off the table? Is this something where we can come in and we can encourage the bridging between these government officials that people are forced to have over them, and bring back that respect? Is this something that falls within the value and the mission and vision of You Are the Power? Is this something where we can work to have community led solutions, be able to shine and show that we've got the answers? We being the people, we being the community members, we being the people involved in this. And so we hit those two things. We will, of course, want to check for validity and make sure that we are doing as much as we can to make sure that we're representing ourselves and those people who we serve in the best way possible. So there's a couple checks that go on that start us off, and so the the thing that I would encourage the most is, if you don't ask, you never receive. But there are people that we've already been able to help support, and we have a lot of cases that go public, and we go public for them intentionally. We need to have those things, but there's other cases and causes that we're working on that we keep those in the background. And I think that one of the most inspiring thing for me, one of the things that has given me one of the most fulfillments of being a part of You Are the Power, is whenever we reach out to somebody and they're like, hey, I need help. It's a long shot. Spike and team going through these issues. My city's doing this. I just need some help. And we reach back and we say, hey, we'd love to help you. Here's what we would advise. Here's what we could do. And then they, just to watch these people be elated. They think it's a long shot, and maybe it is, but give yourself the opportunity to get the help. Give yourself the opportunity so that you can be a part of the solution there. And so once we've gotten to that point where, hey, we're going to get involved, we're going to be able to help, the next thing is do you have to worry about us being from, I'm from South Carolina. We have people across the country, but oftentimes you're not going to, when you're fighting your city council, we may not have uh, organizational members that are in your same city? Or do you have to be worried about the way that You Are the Power is going to represent themselves and represent you and your issue and your cause and all of those things when we go before your city council? Absolutely not, because we don't come in and say, this is now our cause, this is now our situation, this is now our circumstance. No, this will forever be yours, and we want to make sure that we're respecting you and that we're working with the people who bring up these issues so that we can make sure that we are getting them the respect rather than having those detrimental things. And so of course there's opportunities for that, but we try to be as forthcoming with everything. Hey, here's some outcomes that we think are possible, right? Here's the whole gambit. Here's the major success of, we come in and then they realize that they're in the wrong, they turn around 180 degrees and you never have a problem again. Or worse, hey, we potentially could see some corruption come to light, and we don't know what the volatility could be. Who knows what corrupt government officials will do, because they've been able to sit behind their desks, sit behind their daises, sit behind their badges, and who knows how corrupt they will act on these things. And so it's not meant to be a deterrent, but it's meant to say, hey, we respect you, we support you, we want to do what we can, but we want to do with what you're comfortable with. And so at the end of the day, you are the powers here to make a difference and to bring back respect. And we can't do that if we're not laying the foundation from the first conversation on.
I love that. It's something that kind of, as someone who's worked for almost a dozen different like non-profits in the political space over the last 5 years, uh talking to like my regional director Tom, or regional organizer, he yells at me um talking about like West Virginia and the thing. I'm sure we'll probably bring that up here in a minute, but he was talking about like clearing stuff with the heads of um that's
Friends
friends
feeding
feeding
friends.
friends. I was gonna say be kind, be great, and I was like, that's the wrong one. Like clearing things with the head of friends feeding friends before he put it into his speech before city council, and like actually talking that out with them. And I have never met any politician or talking head or anything. Not that Tom is necessarily a talking head yet, but like if it were Spike or something like that, like somebody like that, you would expect to just, oh, this is my place. I'm going to say my piece. We're going to do our thing because this is what we do. And there's an earned arrogance there, I think. Like if Spike were to come in and say something like that, it's not out of like, you guys don't know what you're talking about, this is my thing. It's like, I've done this 27 times before, this is 28. I'm going to say the things that I've had the most success getting a city council member to change their opinion with me saying these things. um and but with You Are the Power, I've noticed consistently what you're talking about, of the, really making sure that they're not overstepping. They're not making this a more heated situation than it needs to be. They're not causing, undue panic in the town over everything. Even if we're being accused of it, we're not actually doing that thing. Um, so you guys have been ramping up quite a bit over the last few months. You just went through a couple of the causes that you guys are a part of. Um, let's kind of like go down through which ones do you have active currently?
Ooh, active. Okay. I'm on the hot seat. So actively right now we're monitoring. We've got a couple causes that we basically are ready to call them a success, but we don't just say, hey, they've turned the other cheek, and so we've walked away from the situation. But we stay involved, we stay engaged, we continue to meet with the organizers or whoever was involved in those on the ground there. So, for example, we talked a little bit about West Virginia and Clarksburg, West Virginia, Friends Feeding Friends. We're still talking with them and we're still engaging with them week in and week out to make sure, hey, you guys have any more issues, or are they actually following through? Them being the government, is the city government still maintaining its promise that it's left you guys alone? And so we continue to do those things. And so we do have active causes that are monitoring, such as Be Kind, Be Great in Columbia, South Carolina, Friends Feeding Friends in Clarksburg, West Virginia. We have active causes where we're still, we may be at a point where we're waiting for the next meeting, we're waiting for the next event. Something such as in Springerville, Arizona, where the town manager has come out and was just kind of nasty to this younger couple, um, because their grandfather was living in an RV in their backyard. This man's an elderly man, and they've put in their special request permit, hey, we just want him to be able to live near us and on our property for the rest of his days. I mean, as something as sensitive as that. But for something like that, we want to see the town manager just respect people. And if you had a loved one that was nearing the end of their days, he just lost his wife a couple of years back, just to have the respect there. So we've got that in Springerville, Arizona. We've got the cause in Mississippi, where that's ongoing, in Taylorsville, Mississippi, with Rasheem Carter, of helping bring justice for Regime Carter. That's been ongoing for a little while, but I mean the passion behind being able to solve what exactly happened as an entire city government and county government kind of just turned a blind eye to it all and just said, meh, uh, no foul play. That one is was a troubling story for me as a father. And so, we've got those two active causes going on. We've got a couple others that we've been reaching out and starting to work through as well. I don't think I'm ready to really talk too much about those. But then we also have where we're getting big successes coming through as well. So we're always transitioning in three phases of like ongoing monitoring because we were successful, and then like actually being able to say, yep, check the box, that is successful. And that one I kind of was alluding to earlier, that one's in Berkeley County, West Virginia. That was a Sheriff Harmon, who kind of used his book. I'm sorry.
That's my favorite of the
Yeah.
stories by far.
Yeah. A sheriff using his badge to kind of protect his daughter from what looks like a DUI accident. And if you go off of her Snapchat story to her cousins and friends, blowing a .18, it definitely was a Dewey. And so she crashes into a cemetery wall. He uses his badge to protect her from even getting a sobriety check. But as I said, she said .18, and from there, watching, as I think it was last week, there was a grand jury that indicted him on 4 counts, 2 counts for falsifying information and 2 for obstructing justice from that evening. And this was something that we brought about millions of eyes to see what Sheriff Harmon had done in that circumstance. We were going out there and we were posterizing this for the community to know exactly who their sheriff was, a sheriff that was proud to boast about his numbers of how many people he caught with DUIs, charged them, and felt he was being successful on it, but then turned the other cheek when it comes to his own family and say, no, this is different. I didn't get involved. I wasn't a part of this. She just somehow miraculously came out with an outcome just different than every other circumstance. So we've got also like the big, huge successes like that. To indict an active sitting sheriff, I think, is huge. And so active causes, we've got them all.
I this might just be my like personal like all cops are bastards type personality, but there was something special about that case where 'cause, every once in a while I get that like statist bug of empathy where I'm like, you know a lot of the shittiest mayors are probably trying to do their best, trying to do the thing. Like when in like Clarksburg, West Virginia, they say, "Oh, this soup kitchen is bringing in all the drug addicts and homeless people because it's giving them a place for them to." I genuinely think some of those people just actually believe that. They're not lying to try to like do a bad thing. They just believe something dumb. And to me that's different. Like there's a difference between being dumb and being evil, and I think most politicians, especially small town politicians in America, are the dumb, not evil.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't have that empathy for most cops at all. Like I just go straight to they're probably evil. And even see if you stir up a big enough problem that a city councilor doesn't win re-election next time around or something like that, okay, that's one thing. Homie's going to jail for what he did, because he deserves to go to jail for what he did. And I don't know, that just it's rare for people in the liberty movement to get actual like state sanctioned justice on the people we don't like. It's very beautiful to watch happen.
I think you hit on a very important note, right? Don't attribute to malice what you can to ignorance. And I try to give that to everyone, right? I've sat down and sometimes we have to be a little bit brass with it. Sometimes we have to be a little bit in their face with it to get them to see, hey, there's a disconnect here. And I had a video that was shared on You Are the Power, where I had a confrontation with a police officer, and I don't do this to brag about it, but the tagline that
brag
everyone
about
got
it.
from this, the tagline that everybody like was quoting when they watched the video, they were like, that was the fire line, was, I had this back and forth with the police officer because a gentleman was eating a meal sitting up against a tree. And so the officer was just being obscene and was just like waving his arm, just like, get out of here. You can't sit there. You can't, you're causing a problem. So I went up and I confronted him. And he first said that the mayor and city council created some new ordinance. I was like, when? He was like, just a little while ago. I was like, I've been to every one of those meetings. No. And so he's like, all right, well, that's not going to work. So now, you know what? He's obstructing the sidewalk. I was like, he's sitting in line with the tree. So the tree is obstructing the sidewalk. And he's just like, I'm not going to go after the tree. I'm like, thank you. But you're missing the point. Like, clearly there's a mental disconnect there. And I was like, so I just want this ordinance. What is the ordinance that you really want to go after? Because I want to be able to pull this up for us to have this conversation. He was getting into where he's going to say, I'm not required to show you the ordinance, but he got to, I'm not required. And I quickly whipped back, and this was in the comment section everywhere. I know you're not required to know your job. Have a nice day. And I left. But it's frustrating to be in those circumstances. It's hard to not have those quips coming out. This isn't certainly, the old Twitter or the X where nobody was out there quote tweeting that, right? In real life. But you just have to point out to these people that you don't know what you're talking about. You're just using your position. You're just using your authority to be a schoolyard bully. And in the case of an officer doing this, the ramifications of him being able to do what he wants to do means that somebody could get roughed up, somebody could get arrested, detained, and even put into a jail or a prison or just held in a cell for some time. Like these aren't just, a slap on the wrist, as opposed to what they're likely to get. Now, I did, from that video, I went straight to the mayor and I went straight to the chief of police and I said, hey, you guys said that your police are being respectful to people. You guys said that your police are not making up ordinances and doing what they want to do. What's this? And the best that they could do was they said, well, we're going to sustain the punishments against them. We can't tell you what the punishments were, but by golly, he's punished. He's punished real good. But it's like, we have to be there to say no, right? I realize I may be that nerd, right? I'm that nerd that I like to learn, like, what is the perspective? What is the intent of these ordinances and policies? So that way, when an officer's using it to run roughshod over someone, I'm like, that's not the intention of this. Not everybody else wants to do that. Not everyone else has the gall to go, stop it. Stop being a bully. But that's what You Are the Power, what we want to do is we want to empower people, to remind you that you are the power, to be able to step up and do those things. And so we just live these things out, and we hope that from these actions, we inspire other people to step up and say, you know what, enough's enough. I don't care what party you're from. I don't care what position you're in. Just give us the damn respect we deserve.
Hell yeah. So for the people watching who are wondering how they can be a part of that and do that stepping up, how do people get involved? How do people reach out? What kind of people do you need? I know that's kind of a super generic question, but like, what are some actual like positions that need filling?
Oh man. So we talked a little bit about like this in the beginning. The person that I need is somebody who wants to do this, who wants to be involved. You don't have to have an agenda. You don't have to have a narrative. If you have skills that you want to bring to the table, bring those to the table. But first thing I need you to do is head over to youarethepower.net, youarethepower.com, either way, youarethepower.net/membership. Sign up to be a member. Memberships are free. If you can afford to sign up and make some donations while you're signing up, there's some amazing swag. This sweatshirt right here is by far, like, legitimately, not because of the name that's on here, but this legitimately is my favorite sweatshirt. Like, it's stupid comfortable. It is pretty warm in my house right now, but I would rather wear this than wear the You Are the Power t-shirts, the polos, anything like that. I want to wear this sweatshirt. It is so freaking comfortable. So you can sign up to be a member, sign up for one of like the paid packages, and you can get some pretty sweet swag. But youarethepower.net/membership, youarethepower.com. Just go ahead and check us out. You can see some of the causes that we've been a part of. You can see a lot of the stuff there. Sign up. What we're going to do is we're going to get you connected with your regional organizer, right? If you're in the northeast, like David is, we didn't have to get him connected to Tom because he knew him, but we're going to get you connected to Tom. If you're in the southeast, we're going to get you connected to Brandon. If you're in the southwest, we'll get you connected to Mimi. We'll get you connected to whoever your regional organizer is. That way, when causes come out, they can get in contact with you and say, hey, look, we're working on this issue. Here's what we're looking to do. Do you want to be a part of this? How do you see yourself helping out the team on this? Here's the list of needs that we have for this cause. What any of these things interested in you? Because the thing that I have learned the most in my time is working in grassroots, is that I don't want you to just do whatever I tell you to do. I want you to want to do whatever it is you want to do that helps us. And so as long as I can find those things, if I find your skills, I'm happy to connect you with the people that are going to be able to use those skills. It's so that everyone is just happy to be able to work as one cohesive unit and build back the respect in this country.
Hell yeah. I love it. Well, Jason, thanks so much for doing this. I am super excited to keep doing this. So for those of you that don't know, we're going to be doing this about every other week going forward, a little bit shorter version, and getting an update on those causes that Jason just mentioned, any new causes that are coming up. I know there's a few in the pipeline that haven't gotten the green light yet, and some of those I'm more excited about than the actual active ones, so we'll see. Some of those sound really cool. So we're going to be back here doing this every other Sunday on FSM News. So come back, guys, check us out, and get those updates. Jason, again, thanks so much for this.
David, thank you for having me, man. And it's just incredible to be able to talk about these things. It's clearly like my passion. It's just to talk about this stuff. So anytime I can talk about it, I appreciate it immensely, man.
All right. Well, we will be right back with a little bit more FSM News after that.
I'm Spike Cohen. You are the power, and together we're about to change everything.
Thank you guys so much for watching FSM News. Click the link and the like and the follow button below. Help boost this and similar awesome content. And FSM will be right back with a in the logos with Ryan Tower just after this. So do not go anywhere. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great week.